Dr. Irwin Jackson, 1341 Jackson Bluff. And like the folks you've just heard from, I'm not making any money out of this deal. McKibbon Hotel Group project is the most recent example of blatant dishonesty, unethical conduct, manipulation of this commission for the sole purpose of providing financial benefit to Scott Maddox, Governance Incorporated, and his business partners, Gary Jordan, and others. When will this commission have the courage to stand up for the public and demand ethical actions from its members? Scott Maddox has used his lobbying firm Governance to facilitate this sale to the McKibbon Hotel Group, which began back in May of 2006. Since becoming a city commissioner, he has tried to hide his role from the public. First, City Attorney Shelley suggested that Scott should not vote on these issues. Unfortunately, Shelley suggested it'd be a neat trick if Scott would simply get up and leave, as he has done for numerous months, leave the dais before any vote. This legal advice would allow Scott to not vote, but also prevent him from disclosing his conflict of interest in writing. I've received a ruling from the Florida Ethics Commission, which I'll make part of the public record. It's been in place since 1988, and it clearly states, I quote, "An official who temporarily absents himself from the portion of a meeting at which he would be presented with a voting conflict of interest still is required to announce the basis of the conflict and file a memorandum of voting conflict, which he has refused to do." City Attorney Shelley also provided cover for Gary Jordan when it was pointed out by the Tallahassee reports that Gary was not a registered lobbyist with the city. The cover-up continued when Mr. Shelley allowed Gary to register as a lobbyist for a defunct, unregistered business once called Zachary Group. This week we learned that when the city manager wants to send an email to Gary, she doesn't send it to Zachary. No. She knows where he's at. She sends it to Governance Incorporated. Scott Maddox, Gary Jordan, Paige Carter-Smith, and Governance are all involved in an organized effort to extract money from the citizens of Tallahassee. Unfortunately, their actions are being supported in part by the city manager and definitely city attorney. It is time to tell Scott Maddox that these self-serving actions stop tonight. Vote down this project. No more delays. I'm also asking this commission to request a formal opinion from the Florida Ethics Commission whether Scott's actions to stand up and remove himself from these votes, in fact, is a violation of Section 112. The public needs to learn the truth. Thank you very much, and I'll make this part of the public record.
Next speaker is Curtis Baines.
Mr. Mayor, just briefly before you go on to the next speaker, although we all know that this stuff isn't true, I always try to dispel it because someone might be unsuspectingly watching TV. Of course, what Mr. Jackson says is not true, and everyone in this room knows it, and everyone that follows closely. He's accused me of everything from having my cousin being the fire chief, who I wasn't related to running a criminal empire, to somehow stealing $300 million. And so far, my wife wants to know where the $300 million is. It hasn't surfaced, but I just want to, for the record, say that absolutely what Mr. Jackson is saying is not true, but then again, it's not a surprise to any of us. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.